saying that audiences will always line up to see her no matter what she does.
Every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
You know what's interesting about all this is that the only person waiting in line to see Snow White was Rachel Zegler.
When we look, you can see families were more than willing to go to the box office to support something like the Minecraft movie, while Rachel Zegler's Snow White continues to plunge. Minecraft in the United States in one weekend made more money than Snow White has made globally after 3 weekends. That's how bad it is right now.
Warner Brothers' Minecraft movie versus Disney's Snow White, which in theory should be quite a battle, but it's not even a fair fight. And it's pretty hysterical, actually, to watch.
We're talking about ultra-far leftists, people who believe that men and women are a figment of your imagination, that your money is not your own, that your family is not your own, and that your country is not your own. That's what woke me.
Snow White, of course, famously played by the insufferable girl boss narcissist, who's just clinical at this point.
Now, there is no doubt about it that Snow White 2025 is considered by far one of the worst box office failures, not just with Disney, but also in the entire film history when it comes down to live-action remakes.
Literally the only person there. And do you not understand how humiliating this is? Meanwhile, the experience at Minecraft goes something like this.
They say fairy tales always end in a happily ever after, but for Disney's Snow White, the magic ran out long before the clock struck midnight. In a twist that has left Hollywood stunned and fans buzzing, the long-anticipated live-action Snow White remake led by Rachel Zegler didn't just underperform, it practically vanished at the box office. Meanwhile, The Unlikeliest of Victors, a film based on pixelated blocks and creepers, has climbed to staggering success. That's right, Minecraft, the movie everyone mocked as too basic and too childish, has bulldozed its way to a $300 million global opening.
And of course, this weekend, Minecraft came out, which has absolutely dominated the box office, done significantly better than analysts even projected.
So, it got destroyed at the box office. Here's the box office numbers. The Minecraft movie made $60 million on Saturday. Snow White made 2. Whereas the Snow White model is the message ad infinitum shoved directly up your ass, and most importantly, in the most insufferable possible way, like screamed at you by an ugly woman for 2 hours.
All of this begs one question. How did Disney fumble one of its most iconic properties? And how did a game-turned film with no traditional narrative lap them without breaking a sweat? Let's start with the basics. Audiences showed up for Minecraft. In droves. Families, teens, and nostalgia-driven millennials all flocked to theaters in what felt like a cultural event. It wasn't just a movie premiere, it was a celebration of a digital world that has been a part of people's lives for over a decade. The Minecraft film leaned into what made the game beloved: adventure, community, and yes, even a little chaos. It didn't try to be profound, and it didn't apologize for being fun. It was loud, bright, and self-aware in all the right ways. And crucially, it didn't talk down to its audience. In sharp contrast, Snow White arrived with a thud. Despite the mountain of anticipation, the film barely scraped $77 million across several weeks. A tragic number for a title with this kind of legacy and a marketing budget that could rival a small country's GDP. The tragedy isn't just in the financials, though, it's in the optics. This wasn't a quiet flop, it was public, relentless, and arguably avoidable. What should have been a triumphant retelling of a classic tale became a case study in how to lose your audience before the opening credits even rolled. At the center of this storm is Rachel Zegler, a rising star who found herself in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons. Cast as the titular princess in a remake of the film that started the entire Disney empire, Zegler's off-screen commentary quickly overshadowed the on-screen narrative. In interviews, press appearances, and promotional clips, Zegler repeatedly criticized the original 1937 animated film, calling it outdated and problematic. She expressed frustration with the idea of a damsel in distress, scoffing at the idea of needing a prince, and even mocked the premise of seven dwarfs, rebranded in the remake as mysterious, magical creatures. Now, it's not unusual for a remake to modernize its themes. After all, times change, but what struck many as tone-deaf was Zegler's seemingly dismissive attitude toward the very foundation of the role she was stepping into. For generations, Snow White has been more than a character. She's a symbol of childhood, tradition, and cinematic history. When the actress portraying her seems uninterested, or worse, disdainful of that legacy, it's not just a misstep. It's a branding catastrophe, and that's exactly what happened. Online backlash was swift and brutal. Fans felt alienated, critics questioned the creative direction. Influencers, blogs, and even casual viewers wondered aloud, why would you hire someone who seems to dislike the story she's telling? It wasn't about politics, despite attempts to frame it that way. It was about storytelling, about respect, about the delicate balance between innovation and preservation. In this case, Disney appeared to tip too far into reinvention without remembering why people loved the original in the first place. Meanwhile, Minecraft did the opposite. It didn't reinvent the wheel. It just made sure the ride was fun. With Jack Black lending his chaotic charm and a cast that leaned into the absurdity of the world, the film didn't promise deep commentary or lofty lessons. It promised entertainment, and it delivered. Critics who once laughed at the concept of a Minecraft movie were forced to reevaluate when box office numbers skyrocketed. And what's more, the audience didn't walk in with expectations of nostalgia being tampered with or childhood favorites being redefined. They walked in expecting a good time. And they got one. What's even more revealing is who didn't show up for Snow White. Traditionally loyal Disney fans, families, and even progressive audiences, many of whom typically support reimagined stories, turned away. Reviews were damning across the board. The film was described as joyless, soulless, and burdened by its own attempt to be culturally relevant. Instead of delivering a new spin on a beloved tale, it seemed to forget the tale entirely, focusing instead on lecturing viewers rather than enchanting them. It's a cautionary tale for any studio. Nostalgia is powerful, but it's not invincible. People aren't opposed to change, but they are opposed to being talked down to being told that what they love is wrong or outdated. Disney banked on the idea that its name alone would carry the film, that fans would come, no matter what. But audiences are savvier than ever. They know when a story is sincere and when it's a product of corporate checklists. Rachel Zegler's Snow White has now become the poster child for a broader issue, the disconnect between Hollywood and its viewers. It's not about one actress or one film. It's about a pattern of misunderstanding what makes stories resonate. While Zegler may have been an easy target for criticism, the blame doesn't rest solely on her shoulders. This was a top-down failure. Poor casting decisions, confused messaging, and a script that seemed embarrassed by its source material. The contrast with Minecraft couldn't be starker. One embraced its origins, the other tried to erase them. One invited its audience in with a wink and a laugh, the other pushed them away with a lecture and a sigh. One understood its identity, the other lost it completely. And so, here we are. Minecraft sits atop the box office with a $300 million win, while Snow White quietly disappears into the shadows. Disney, once the untouchable titan of family entertainment, now finds itself scrambling to recover, again questioning the direction of its beloved remakes. Fans, meanwhile, are left wondering if the studio will learn from this mistake, or if more childhood icons will be reimagined into oblivion. Perhaps the real lesson here is this: the audience isn't asking for perfection, they're asking for heart, for fun, for stories that respect their roots while daring to grow. If studios can find that balance, there's still magic to be found. But if they don't, well, there's always a pixelated hero in a diamond helmet ready to take their crown.